You know what's funny about anxiety? Everyone gets a little taste of it, but no one tells you it's coming. Life just quietly serves you a plate like, oh, here, by the way, enjoy this constant low-key dread. And society, being the overachiever that it is, sets up the perfect breeding ground for it. Think about it, you're shoved into school as a kid, stuck in rooms with fluorescent lighting and strangers, being told that if you fail this one math test, you'll end up living in a cardboard box. It's like an anxiety factory, and we are all the fresh, nervous little products. And you'd think, after all those years, we'd figure out how to handle it. Like, surely, somewhere between getting your first locker and being forced to speak in front of the class, society would offer us some tools to calm the chaos in our heads, right? Wrong. What do they teach us instead? The Pythagorean theorem. Yes, because knowing the hypotenuse is really going to help when I'm having an existential crisis at 2 a.m. about a weird look someone gave me when I was a kid. Honestly, to mess things up this badly, we would have to deliberately avoid teaching people how to deal with emotions. Imagine if schools were designed specifically to make anxiety worse. Like, okay, here's an idea. Let's keep kids stuck in desks all day, give them impossible expectations, and then casually throw in puberty, just for fun. We're practically setting people up to develop all sorts of irrational fears. And then we're shocked when everyone grows up feeling like they might collapse at the thought of receiving a mildly assertive email. Let's just get one thing clear. Anxiety isn't something you're born with. Sure, some people are naturally more jumpy or cautious, but no one comes out of the womb worrying about their Wi-Fi connection or whether they accidentally offended someone via text. Anxiety is learned, my friend, and we are all straight A students. We learn it from social pressures, deadlines, and, being told that our futures depend on how we do in a 30-minute job interview where they ask us stuff like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And we're like, oh, not in this interview, hopefully. The most anxious people? They're usually the ones who care the most. The overthinkers. The planners, the ones who've already imagined every possible disaster before you've gotten out of bed. But you know why? Because being anxious means they've practiced running through worst-case scenarios so often they could probably start a doomsday prep YouTube channel. They're the ones making sure everyone's okay, double-checking that the stove's off, and anticipating every awkward silence before it even happens. Not because they want to, but because their brain is like, hey, if we don't overthink this, something bad is definitely going to happen. But there's another side to this. Some people look totally calm on the outside, like they've got life all figured out, but deep down, it's pure chaos. You ever meet someone who's so together and chill, and then you find out that they have a secret hobby like stress baking at midnight or owning 17 types of herbal teas to calm their nerves? That's anxiety undercover. They've just learned how to dress it up in nice clothes and pretend it's not there. Now, here's where it gets real. People don't remember the details of your freak-out moments. They don't remember the time you stammered or forgot someone's name or said something weird because your anxiety was at 100. What they do remember is how you made them feel. So instead of obsessing over every little anxious moment, try focusing on that. When your brain is sending you into panic mode, just ask yourself, how can I make this situation feel less horrible for both me and the other person? Because 9 times out of 10, they're probably not even noticing your anxiety. They're too wrapped up in their own. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're at a party, a rare occasion where you have convinced yourself to show up. You're standing near the snack table, drink in hand, feeling a little out of place, but trying your best to look like you belong. Suddenly, someone you admire, a colleague, an old friend, or maybe even your crush, walks over and starts talking to you. Hey, I've been meaning to talk to you. I saw that project you worked on recently. It was incredible. Oh, thanks so much. It was, a real team effort. Yeah, I couldn't have done it without, the team. Internally, you're panicking. Why did I say team twice? Do I sound like a broken record? Or are they bored? Did I just blow my one chance to sound intelligent? Well, it really stood out. The way you structured everything was impressive. Oh, wow. That means a lot coming from you. I mean, you're so good at stuff like this too. At this point, you're sure they're silently regretting talking to you. Every awkward pause feels like an eternity. Your mind is screaming, why did I say stuff? They're going to think I don't even know what I'm talking about. You start fidgeting with your drink, wishing you could rewind time or simply disappear. Thanks. Anyway, I just wanted to say hi. I've got to grab a drink, but let's catch up more later. As they walk away, you're left spiraling. Did they just walk away because I was awkward? Did I ruin their impression of me forever? You replay the conversation over and over, cringing at every perceived misstep. The reality? They walked away thinking, that was nice. They seemed a little nervous, but it's sweet how genuine they are. I'd like to chat with them more later. The truth is, most people aren't dissecting your every word. They're busy thinking about their own conversations, their own insecurities, and whether or not their outfit looks okay. Anxiety, though, wants you to believe you're the star of some imaginary drama. This doesn't also mean you need to pretend to be all cool and confident all the time. People can spot fake calm from a mile away. And nothing says, I'm super anxious, like overcompensating with way too much enthusiasm. You don't need to slap on a fake smile and act like you've got it all together when inside, you're freaking out. Instead, embrace the awkwardness a bit. It's okay to be a little weird. Everyone's weird, and you know what? Being real about it can actually make you feel less anxious. You're not fooling anyone anyway, so you might as well laugh it off. When anxiety hits, it's tempting to think the worst. Your brain spirals, going from, oops, I tripped over nothing, to, great, now I'm the clumsiest human on earth and everyone saw and they're all judging me. But here's the secret. No one cares. Seriously. People are too busy worrying about their own embarrassing moments to remember yours, and if they do remember, well, they'll forget by the time they trip over something themselves. This is the part where you start to see anxiety for what it really is. A trickster. It blows everything out of proportion, convinces you that the world is ending over something as small as sending a text, and then leaves you there, sweating over nothing. Before we continue, if you're finding value in this discussion, please hit that subscribe button and become part of our community. Share your thoughts below and comment sub, and you might just get a personal shout out in our next video. Now, back to it. The key is balance. Be real. If you're anxious, lean into it a bit. Banter is a way of saying, hey, I'm comfortable enough to joke about this, so you should be too. Just make sure you're not crossing the line into roasting. Remember when you tripped in front of the whole office? Yeah, don't do that. That's not banter. That's just making someone want to avoid you. But a little lightheartedness can be a great way to make the situation feel less intense. And here's the big takeaway. Don't take anxiety too seriously. We've all freaked out over something dumb, only to look back later and realize it wasn't that deep. Anxiety makes everything seem more intense than it actually is. So, next time you're overthinking whether you should say hi to someone at work, remember, it's not that serious. Breathe, laugh at how ridiculous your thoughts are, and remind yourself it probably won't matter in a week. Heck, it probably won't matter tomorrow. Just tell your brain to chill for a second, because at the end of the day, that's all anxiety really wants to hear.